What's up, everyone? Happy New Year. I am so excited to have you here. I just want to tell you all that I am excited about 2022. There are big things in store in the e-commerce sphere that we will be talking about. And I just cannot wait to see what this year brings. 2021 was an amazing year, and we had so many new students come in, so many success stories. And I know that right now, so many of you are excited to get started with 2022 the right way. So I have something really special for you tonight. You should all be able to see my screen, so we'll kind of take this one step at a time. If you can hear me, just say Happy New Year in the chat box. If you can hear me, just go ahead and say Happy New Year. Make sure that mic check works. Randy, Julie, Joseph, DRJC Lynn, Don Peel, James, Cindy, Daryl, Kathy Lee, Kathy Brown Richardson, Rich Lee, Robin. Okay, cool. So everybody can hear me. Now, let's do test number 2. And beware, because I look really bad tonight, and I'll explain why in a moment. So now you should all be able to see me. Okay, can everybody see me? Yeah, just type in a 2 if you could see me. Awesome. Cool. So everybody's piling in the room. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Everybody's piling in the room right now. And so I'm just going to do a quick little intro. And for all of those that are new on here, we'll talk about what we're going to learn tonight. I'm going to tell you all a really interesting story that is why we're learning tonight what we are learning. I have someone on here, a special guest, that's honestly doing me a very big favor tonight that you get to benefit from. But first, on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see my social media. I talk about e-commerce everywhere, but I'm most active on Instagram and YouTube. So follow my YouTube channel. I release a video a week. This week I'm probably going to miss it because I had an unfortunate circumstance that has kind of messed me up a bit, put me a week behind, but we'll get to that in a minute. And on Twitter, I don't talk about e-commerce. I talk about cryptocurrency and NFTs. So if you're interested in the NFT craze and crypto, I've been deep in it since August with NFTs specifically. So follow me on Twitter. On the left-hand side, we have some awesome tools that you can add to your Shopify store to supercharge it and help you do your targeting and help you automate shipping and help you target your ads more intelligently, like with Pixel Magic. And on the bottom left-hand side, we have our recommended fulfillment apps. So we've got Pillow Profit, Shine On, Zendrop. So just take a screenshot of this if you know how to take a screenshot on your computer. Go to these links at your leisure and check out like our recommended vendors. Pillow Profits I've made an immense amount of money with. Shine On is a private app that's completely free. Zendrop replaces the need for AliExpress. So you're definitely going to want to check those out. And while everybody's piling in the room, if this is your first time to be on the Profit Power Hour, again, I want to welcome you. You should all be able to access your members area on accessadrian.com. And if you want to check out like our most recent replays, all you have to do is come down here to My Courses Software, click on Profit Power Hour, Access Now. And when you click on Access Now, it's going to give you a free members area that has all of our replays in it. So you can go look at everything we did in 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016. I do these every week. It doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I make sure that I show up for you because it's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about teaching you and helping others succeed and helping you learn from both my success and my failures. So we had some amazing training on December 30th. So make sure to check that out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notifications when we release these videos. You just got to hover your mouse over my profile photo there, and you'll kind of see it pop up. And yeah, so that's the members area dashboard. Now, I do want to make an important announcement before we talk about our special guest and what we're going to be doing tonight. So I, I am debating, we'll see what happens in 2022, trying something a little bit different with replays. I'm debating on, I'm not always doing a replay of the Profit Power Hour because I want to start showing some more private information that I don't want recorded and in a members area. So it might be private campaigns and private things within some of my personal accounts. And as someone that streams to 1 million+ people through my email list and all social media, when I do these and I record them, I have to be careful with some of the more sensitive information that I share. So I want to go ahead and say in 2022, make sure that you show up to this webinar live, because you never know when it's going to be one that I'm not going to record. And it's in your best interest to be on here live, because it's so easy to forget to watch the replay. And you probably take more action when you're on here with all the hype and you're learning and you're implementing as you learn. It's just a better experience overall. So I'm so happy to have you all here. Now, before we get started, again, this last time I'll say before we get started, I brought a special guest on here tonight who I'm going to introduce here in just a moment. And his name is, well, I'll get to that in just a second, but he's a very close, longtime friend of mine. He has agreed to come on and do a free training for you that he would typically charge thousands of dollars for, on how he's generated 8 figures is an understatement, but multiple 8 figures, potentially 9. He'll have to confirm when he comes on, using the power of copy that sells. He knows how to finesse an ad to make people want to click it and buy it. And he has been contracted by some of the biggest marketers on the planet to write their copy for ads, for email. And in 2022, it's going to be important that you start making sure that when you put an ad out there, you focus on what that ad is saying and making it compelling so people want to spend money on your product, right? The sexier it sounds, the more sizzle there is to it, the more likely it is to succeed, right? There are 3 elements, I believe, to success with e-commerce. Number 1 is a good product. Number 2 is a dang good image of your product. And number 3 is, well, a good description of the product that helps people realize the benefit of spending their hard-earned money on that product. So this guy is number 1. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot on this webinar, and I hope that next week I'm able to talk more. But I suffered a really bad injury on New Year's Day, actually New Year's Eve, and I was out moving one of my cars with a buddy of mine, and we were putting a car up on a trailer, and he was opening up the door to get out of the car once it was up on the trailer. It was my car. And I saw that the door was about to hit the trailer, the side of the trailer, and I grabbed the door with my hand, and he accidentally slammed the entire tip of my right hand middle finger in the door. He actually had to open the door so I could get my finger out. And I spent 8 hours in the hospital on New Year's Eve. I got 6 stitches. I can't type. Like I can't write on my whiteboard. I can't type. I'm not left-handed, so I'm having trouble like brushing my teeth. I kid you not. It really makes me appreciate how nice it is to have my right hand usable. I mean, you could see like my finger right here is bloody. This is like the stitches and stuff. I know a lot of you probably don't want to see that, but I can't do anything. So I called Sean, and I'm kind of looped up on some pain meds. I didn't break it, but it went to the bone. It was the most painful thing that's ever happened to me. And I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. I got this webinar tomorrow. I have all the stuff I want to teach, but I can't type and I can't draw, and I don't know what to do, but I have to show up. It's the first webinar of 2022. I cannot cancel it. You got 2 kids and a new puppy dog, but will you please come on here and just blow my community's mind away with your amazing training. And his name is Sean Vosler. And he said, hell yeah, I got your back. I'm going to come and I'm going to do it. So everybody welcome one of the #1 copywriters in the world, top copywriters in the world, Sean Vosler. Sean, unmute yourself, test your mic, say what's up. Look
There,
at
I
that
was
hair.
muted.
Beautiful.
Now I'm unmuted. You know what, Adrian? I was looking at that one slide you just had up, and without the beard, and I forgot that you went from no beard to beard, and I gotta say, I like the beard look. And
Good. I like to hear that. It's more
yeah,
distinguished, you know? So,
I dig
thanks
it.
for being here, man. Your office looks epic. Looks like you get a
It's
lot
a
of stuff done.
complete. I'm not even on the right camera set up right now. It's a complete wreck. I'm doing some 3D printing stuff over here for a video thing and having some fun. But tonight,
That's
dude, I'm
awesome.
excited, man. This will be fun. Like, and just as a sympathy pain, I scratched my finger today when I tripped and fell down. So,
I feel
you
for you.
know,
I feel for you. I
but
absolutely
yeah,
feel for you.
I
Yeah,
yeah, we're similar,
thanks for being here. Like I said, I really can't type. I mean, I don't know if y'all got I don't know how many of you want to see a good close up of 6 stitches going through my finger. It looks like Frankenstein's head. But in 2 weeks, they said I should be okay. But just for those of you that don't know, if you follow, say, the most notable person who owns Radio Shack and Pier 1 Imports, Ty Lopez, if you've read an email from Ty Lopez or seen a Facebook ad or some sort of advertisement from Ty Lopez, um, chances are that you're reading a mixture of Sean's words, right, in those ads, because he was like their top guy. That's how we met, is through Ty Lopez. And he became such a great friend and a brilliant mind and has helped me do major promotions, made me an immense amount of money, helping me with copy. And Sean, if you just want to give a couple words about yourself, what you want to teach tonight. I know that you don't have like a ton of time, but you agreed to come on here for a good like 40, 45 minutes or so, and teach everybody how to crush it with e-commerce this year using the power of copy.
Yeah, man. And I think you may need to give me the ability to share my screen. I'm not
Sure.
sure.
Let me do that.
Um, yeah, but
Boom.
I'll figure that out. But yeah, guys, I'll give you a little context if you don't know. Oh, I have to do the whole system preference thing here. Give me 1 second. Um, it's my first time using GoTo since I got this. Oh, I gotta quit and reopen. Okay, I'll be back in
Yeah,
two
I'll
seconds.
take the screen back and you can just come back.
All right, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. That's the beauty of getting a new computer here. 1 second.
All right. It's not actually even letting me click anymore. So everybody give a second. Oh, there we go. There we go. There it is. All right. So I could share my screen. Yeah, so Sean doesn't do a lot of webinars. So let's see, share screen. Let's go, share the screen. While he's doing that, I forgot to say, go into the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/profitph. Tell everybody to get their butt on. What are you waiting for? We want to max this out. So get on the webinar. Tell them to jump in. You can just copy and paste whatever's right there in our group. We have almost 20,000 amazing members in the group, and this is the guy that could show you how to write impeccable, sizzling, sexy, money producing Facebook ads and email copy. And he's already back and ready to share his screen. So I'm going to give it to you this time, sir.
Excellent. Yeah, so no hype. We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna play some let's see here, screen two, there it is. We're gonna play some riddles. No, I'm just kidding. We won't do that. Oh, come on now.
Do you need a mentor?
I need a mentor. I got
Mentor
the little
security.
screen, the little wheel of death. Give me 1 second. Actually, you can still hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can see
Okay,
you and
good.
hear you.
Okay, good. It's all frozen on my end, but maybe it'll come back in a second. I'll do my little intro while my computer's thinking about it. But Adrian, stick around
Okay.
just because I think I got it. We're
I'm
good.
gonna be here the whole time. I want to see what
Oh,
you
cool.
have to teach. I ain't leaving. I
Excellent.
want to see this.
Okay. Now I can officially start. So yeah, Adrian reached out. I haven't done a ton of ecom stuff directly, but over the last few years, as Adrian mentioned, my background is more in the direct marketing space, working with folks with more of the info product offers like Sam Ovens, Ty Lopez, these Morrison crazy kids. But what's been interesting in the last few years is I've shifted focus to actually just going and deep diving into the fundamentals of copy. All these books you see behind me are mostly copywriting books, a lot of books on story. In fact, the one I'm looking at reading right now on my desk, Wired for Story, really good book. But what I've been able to do is sit down and literally put in hundreds of hours into developing a book on copywriting, which don't worry, I'm not going to pitch you hard on it. I'm going to show you guys all this stuff later today. But the reason I bring that up is because with copy, what's interesting is even if you've never written straight up like direct marketing copy or specific types of copy, if you know the principles, you can apply them to just about any kind of marketing out there, whether it's a Facebook ad, a YouTube ad, an ad that's going to be on the Super Bowl, an email. They all use the same kind of principles. So we're going to talk about some of those principles today. I'm going to keep it pretty entry level stuff because I know we've got some folks who on here, who are mostly getting started, but we got a lot of folks who have done ecom that you'll still be able to benefit from this. But first I want to ask you guys, how many people in here like love writing copy? Is there anybody that just like that's their favorite thing to do? If I see any, I'm going to be impressed. But let's see. I see I do. Okay. I want to learn more about it. Nope, hell no. Hell no. Yeah, that. So here's the deal. I don't love writing copy either. I do it all the time. I love researching it, but it is just a pain in the butt. Like there's no doubt about it that it is just it's a using a part of our brain that we don't get to use a lot. It's not like riding a bike. I've come to realize this. Like, if you haven't ridden a bike for a couple of years, you get back on, you can figure it out in a few seconds. Writing doesn't seem to be like that. So it's why I like to use what's called frameworks. So a framework is, I'm going to show you 3 really good ones and 3 that have been around for a long time, but they're so easy to implement that it's the best place to start. Adrian, do you play guitar? Especially, I know you don't right this minute because your fingers don't work, but
I can play What If God Was One of Us.
okay, that counts. So
That's
that's
it.
I
That's
don't I
it.
don't play
That's
at
all
all
my
either.
skill.
But there is a statistic out there. Somebody could probably correct me if I'm wrong exactly, but I think it's something like 80% of songs are made up of the same 3 chords, something like that. In the top 100. So if you know those 3 chords, you're pretty far along in your guitar learning, career. Maybe it's 4 chords. Yeah, 4 sounds more likely. Same applies with copy. If you know some of the basic frameworks, you can get really far and do some really great work. And not have to invest, hundreds of hours like, myself into learning this stuff. So I'm going to share with you some of those. We're also going to look at some examples of good and bad copy out there. But I also want to ask you guys, like, where you are in your business. Are you guys just getting started? Put in the chat, 1, if you're just getting started, 2, if you've been doing this for a year, 3, if you've been doing it for more than 1 year, as far as selling things online, if you're just getting started. We got a couple 3s coming in. It seems to be either just getting started or been doing it a long time. Okay, cool. So 6 years, there's Dr. JC. Okay, cool. Failing and learning to do sales. So just getting started, that's a fun place to be. And in a real sense, every time you sell a new product, you're just getting started, right? So with ecom specifically, I know a lot of it, especially with Amazon or Shopify, you're sourcing products, you're going out, you're finding a product that might be selling well on the market, but then you're a lot of times competing with people selling the same product, right? So you may have a good price, you may have, but at the end of the day, a lot of times you're selling the same type of product. So the way you stand out is with language. If you do better at selling the unique benefits of the product, the unique features, you're going to beat somebody who's selling the exact same product if it's the same price. Sometimes even if their price is higher, or lower, you can beat them with good copy. So let's start out here. I want to just give you guys some general advice, if that's cool, especially since we just got some beginners on here. I want to talk about some of the key just basic principles of this stuff so that we can all kind of start on the same page. So here we go. And I didn't make these slides super fancy or anything. I just wanted to get a few of these in here. And I hate to just read from the slide, but we've only got 4 here, so I think we'll be all right. So the first one here, I actually borrowed conceptually from Adrian Morrison. There's a concept. I forget the subject line we use, Adrian, exactly, but it was very similar to this. Like, no one cares about you, basically, for lack of a better term, because the way that most people fail when they write it about products or themselves or really anything is they focus on themselves, and they focus on like how great they are and how awesome they are, where the first focus needs to be what you can do for them. And here's a simple example with the iPod. Does anybody remember this thing? I have one around here somewhere. That was like a big deal back in the day. But here you can see a copy example. The first one, the world's first portable digital media player. Great, but what's in it for the person? Like, what does that have to do with me? All right. 1,000 songs in your pocket, which is like their very first. I think it's more like 10,000, probably a million now. But that's more about the target audience. That's something that I can tangibly think, oh wow, I could have that in my pocket. All right. So we want to focus on our audience. Pretty simple concept. You'd be amazed at how many people mess up with that. So then we've got the second concept here of basically don't be boring. Well, here's the funny part about this is you probably never seen a boring ad because you didn't notice it. If it was out there and it was boring, you probably didn't even see it as you were scrolling through or going, so especially on the advertising side, we want to stand out with our copy. Images help a lot. I won't talk about that exclusively in this. I know, Adrian, with the ecom side, the imagery is very important, but in our language that we use, we can actually stand out quite a bit. I know on Amazon, I'll be talking probably more about Amazon, but I know you guys focus on Shopify, but similar concepts copy-wise, but you actually do have more flexibility on Shopify, which is nice. But you can see here 2 examples. On the left, you've got just kind of a standard bullet, list here. Business insurance made for you, life insurance made for you, insurance for a digital revolution. Great. This person's selling insurance, we get it. Now, they've created what's called conflict here, and just, what is this, 6 words? In 6 words, forget everything you know about insurance. It's a little bit of a titillating language here. It's perking your interest there. It's going to be noticed. It's going to build some curiosity, and people are going to read it. And that's really our main goal with our copy, isn't it? Is to get people to actually read it. That's the hardest part. So our very first line here matters the most out of all of them. I think it was Ogilvy, one of the most famous advertisers in the history of advertising, said the first line is 80% of your ad budget is in the first line, something like that, because you're looking to get their attention, hold their attention, create this conflict, tell them what's in it for them right out the gate. So even in just a simple Facebook ad, let's get simple, straight to the point, nice and clear. Your face has 43 muscles, don't neglect them. Now this person's selling something I don't even know, like a jazzercising thing.
Interesting enough, right? Listen, I gotta say, I saw those ads for the Jalsercise thing. It's the dumbest thing in the world, which goes back to your top. Yeah, it's like this thing you put in your mouth and you chew it, and they have one that goes between your chin and your neck, and you do this, you're chewing it, and it's supposed to get you a defined jaw. Yo, that's genetics. Like, a Jalserciser ain't gonna give you Superman Henry Cavill jawline. Trust me, I've tried everything. But it just goes to show how the imagery and the copy, right, can get people to buy stuff, because that thing crushed it. It also goes to show that no one does care what you think, and no one does care what you like, right? Like you have at the top left, because people want that result.
Right, exactly. And and it is funny, like I am amazed by the products I'll see on Amazon or sorry, Instagram ads or stuff. And I'm like, how does that even sell? And then I'll see it, a couple weeks later and it's got, 12 million impressions or something. And I'm like, oh, they're doing something. They're doing okay. So, this isn't a webinar necessarily on picking products, but picking products that have weird or interesting or unique selling points, which we'll be talking about here in a couple slides. That definitely helps, right? I've been selling recently as an affiliate, a software that helps people write copy. And it does help that it's very novel. Like, it's a very cool tool and it's very unique. So it's easy for me to market it because it makes it a lot easier to discuss than, say, a generic like bit of water or something. I don't know. So, our first line, back to our slide here, everyone talks about the headline. The first line in an ad is basically your headline. You don't get to do all the formatting stuff as much, maybe throw an emoji in there to grab some attention. But this last point here on this slide, right for format and scannability. People ask me a lot of times, like, how long should an ad be? How long should a landing page be? As long as it takes for your target audience. It could be a super long ad if you're targeting a very generic audience that knows nothing about your product, or it can be pretty succinct and to the point if you're targeting somebody who already knows quite a bit about your offer. So you can make it as long as you want, but you want to format things in a way that people can scan through the copy. This is more of just like an actual like weighting of fonts situation. I know on Facebook you can't do as much, but you can see it in a lot of Facebook ads, which we'll look at a few down here. They're like 1 or 2 liners, but if you're doing a longer bit of text, you want to break it out. You want to have succinct sentences. This is, again, some more of the basic stuff, but every bit of this counts, right? So you can see here we have this block of text that comes up to you on an ad. You're not going to read it, right? Or on a landing page, you see a big old block of text at the top. So we can simply just break things out and give hierarchies, importance, priorities based on sizes. So some of the basics
Sean,
here. Yep.
sorry, I just
Go ahead.
wanted to I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
From my recollection, last time I checked studies, it showed that the average reading level of a person in the United States was about 6th grade reading level. I don't know how accurate that is now. That
Probably
was
not
like a
very
couple
accurate.
years ago.
Yeah.
But always when I'm writing my copy, and I'm not as good as you, I looked at it like this. The average reading level is 6th grade. And if you look at children's books versus adult novels, right? Children's books have what? They have big pictures, really tantalizing photos, and they have short, sweet sentences. And so
Mhm.
I kind of look at it like when I'm writing an ad, I'm advertising an ad to the 6th grade reading level. Now, I don't know if you're Googling if that's still accurate or not, but that's why I think that example you just showed works the best, because one looks daunting to read, the other looks very simple to read, like a book with a couple of one-liners and pictures, which is what Facebook ads actually are. Now, email copy is a bit different, but that's what I see
Yeah.
when I see the write and format for scannability.
That, and think about it this way, on the scannability side, like, if you put a lot on the page and it's very easily scannable, people are going to find, I'll show you, like, on my sales page for my book, I have a very long page, and if I expected everybody to read this, no one would buy it. Hang on.
I have his autographed copy.
Got
I
the only
haven't read
one
it.
out there. I think there's only like 6. Um, so you'll see on here, like, there's a lot of copy. I'm just gonna like grab it, but what I've designed it for is for people to scroll, and then when something grabs their attention and the key points I want to get across, like if they just read the headlines and subheadlines on this page, they'd get the main argument. If they want to dig in more, they can. You'll see I'll use bold and headline. When I have big blocks of text, I'll bold things, I'll highlight them so that I can break it out and give them something to read, because everyone is sold differently. I think it is something like 20% of people who visit a page and actually stay on the page read all the copy. So I'm not I need to design this for the other 70% to find the stuff they want. Now, as far as like reading level, and I wanted to pull up this little link for you guys. This is a cool little tool. It's 100% free. It's called Hemingway app, hemingwayapp.com. And it actually gives you a readability score, grade 6. And it gives you a little bit of advice, like, how to simplify things or clear things up. In fact, I'll grab a bit of text from, I need to probably clean up my sales page here soon, based on a lot of the new stuff that I've been putting together.
I put a
But
link to Hemingway app in the chat for everybody if you want to click on that and save it.
my redirect stuff is screwing up here. So if I grab a bit of, actually, let's just grab it out of my blog post here. So, and I can't copy it. Look at me, totally prepared for this. Why is this redirecting? Okay. So if I grab this bit of text here and I pop it into this Hemingway app, which is pretty cool, you literally just copy and paste. And then I go into edit here. Actually, I think I'm in the edit, so I need to go to write. Okay. Now go to edit. Now mine's gradability 7. Look at that, grade 7. I'm a little bit smarter than the average. Look at that, by 1 grade. Then look at this. I didn't use any adverbs here. That's another, just don't worry about that one, guys. If you use an adverb, you're going to be okay. If you don't know what an adverb is, you're just like me. Like most of the time, I'm not 100% sure what an adverb is, but it's good not to use them, evidently. You'll see that's why it says 0 adverbs. Okay, I did use a passive voice, and I spelled entrepreneurs wrong here. Good job, Sean. Look at that. I use a passive voice. This is all kind of like grammar stuff, but it's not a skill that is taught in school or prioritized in college. I'm talking about copywriting here. Is taught is passive. I could change that to it's not a skill taught in school. Look at that, fix it. And then it tells me I have a hard sentence, but I'm not going to edit all that. So this is a nice free tool. Like, while we're talking about tools, I love this one. I come in here after I write anything, make sure it's readability, by the way, guys. Just because you're writing something at a 6th grade level doesn't mean it can't be profound, right? It can be a college level concept written simply and well said that is easy to read and understand at a 6th grade level, but it can say something very, very interesting, like just any of those motivational quotes you read, right? But like a quote like, it's not always about doing things better, sometimes it's about doing better things, right? That's like a 4th grade reading level, but it carries a concept that's very high. So we're not saying write for a 6th grader when we talk about that. We say write at a level that even a 6th grader could read it, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's roll on here, guys. Maybe we'll pull up some other tools. I've got a bunch of cool tools we could look at. So those are some of the basic concepts. There's a lot out there on this stuff. I just want to give you the overview, because these are the things I see most people doing wrong. And if you can just clear up, it's kind of like those 4 chords on guitar. You can get those super crisp and clear. It's going to be a lot better down the road when you're starting to make more complex music. All right, so let's take a look at some ads, talk about why they work, and talk about ways that we can apply these in our business. And look at this, Adrian, it's already 6:40. I'm good till, like, I can stick around for a while, but it is funny. I made like 8 slides. I was like, I'm not sure we're gonna have, I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough, but I'm good at talking about each slide for quite a while.
That happens. We're talkers.
Yeah, it does. So I'll try to jam through some of these. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, I'll try to get to them as they come in. But do me a favor, if you do have a question on what we're talking about, put a question mark before the chat so that I can see that it's a question I can take a look at. Okay, so I want to show you a couple ads and talk about what's cool about them. This first one on the left is an ad I fell for. I bought this shoe, and it actually turned out to be kind of a crappy shoe, which defeats the whole purpose of a good ad. But regardless, I was like, it's like, we'll give it a try, 60 bucks, neat. But it turned out to be some rip, knockoff, of course. But there's a couple cool things they did in the ad really well. One, it's got a very nice creative, like black shoe, red light. I'm like, I'm in. All right. So I'm already like looking for a reason to buy this shoe because it looks cool to me. Now that's where this copy comes in. very first line, new list. And by the way, this is like second grade reading level. So, if we're going there, first line here, new listing. So new is a very powerful word. If you're not sure what direction to go, explain something that is new about your offer, and it's more than likely just about anything about your offer because it's new to somebody, right? So it's a new listing. It plays off something called the pro innovation bias. Like as humans, we have all these built-in biases, like bias to our friends, bias, to believe our friends versus, anyone else, like all these biases that don't always work well for us. Like sometimes they're wrong in our brain fulls, but we have this pro innovation bias, which is just because it's new means it's good, which is not always true, but we can play off these biases, and there's like hundreds of them. So calling something new, finding a good reason to call it new, good line. All right, exclusive, it's playing into that part of the club. It's a very finesse word. It's a very nice word to use as well. And it gives them the idea that they're going to be part of something unique, and not many people are getting into this thing, right? Then we give them a reason to buy, right? We've got this discount here. And if you're ever at a doubt of what to run in an ad, if you can make the numbers work out, discounts, they always work, because what we're trying to do a lot of times in our pages and our ads is just give them the right reason to buy. Reason to buy. Keep that in mind, guys, because if your copy doesn't give someone a reason to buy, it's not doing its job. This has a couple different reasons to buy built in here, but that discount works really well. And it's like a pretty big discount. Now, turned out to be a crappy shoe, but ideally your product is a good product. And then we got this last part here, limit 100 pairs. That's tying into scarcity. And scarcity is just this idea that there's only a limited supply. So if you have control of your supply, your supply, you can talk about that. You can make artificial supply if you're really, into that. But that's another bias. Like it gives them another reason to buy, because if I don't get it now, it's going to be gone, right? Works well.
Does that follow AIDA? I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing attention, interest, desire, action. Attention is that it's this new pro innovation, AIDA, attention, interest. Interest would be, the image. Desire would be being part of a club. Action would be the discount and the scarcity, right? Those are things that would make you take action. So do you use the old school AIDA formula at all when you write copy?
I do. And hang on, I want to show you something pretty cool, man. So AIDA, Adrian is talking about something which actually I have a slide on. So good lead in. We totally planned that. AIDA, there we go. And it's the reason people use it and talk about it so much. And there's like a million different versions of it. Like I've got in my book, I've actually got like 5 different versions of AIDA. There's AIDCA, IDCA. There's people get silly about it. But what's funny, so this book here, Adrian, if I remember correctly, let me make sure, 1922. AIDA right there. It's hard to see, guys, but this has been going on a while, and I don't want to get on a side tangent. I've been working on a book about the history of copywriting in the background, and I've got about 1,000 pages of research I've put together on this stuff because I'm very curious about the history of it all. But even back as far as the 20s, even before that, AIDA was mapped out. And that's what's so beautiful. If we're tying all the way back to our introduction here, these principles, they don't change because they're based on human nature. They're based on the inner wiring of what makes people work. AIDA, PAS, BAB, all these frameworks, they're based on psychology just as much as anything else. So top level thinking, 40,000 feet here for a second, guys. If you go out and you're like, I want to learn some copy stuff, get books on psychology. Start working or learning about how the mind works. That's where 90% of my insights come for marketing. And I'll try to tie the rest of these ads into that point of view as well. The second point I want to talk about here, anytime we can show and instead of telling, we're going to win in an advertising standpoint. I came across these two. What's this first one selling, Adrian? Without even knowing this product or service, what do you think they're selling here?
A clean, nice walkway into your home. Way to keep the
So
bricks.
that's conceptually, but they're selling a power washing service, right? Like, or a power washer. It's before and
Okay.
after. It's just like dieting, right? Same with the puppy here. It's a groomer before and after. You know, there's a million different examples. And of course you see this in fitness a lot, but you can take it with any product, right? You could even do it with the shoe. You could have somebody with like crappy old beat up loafers, sitting on the couch and they're overweight, and then you show it opposed to, some athlete, blah, 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 right? So every product has a before and after, and showing the benefits that come from it. In fact, anybody in here have a product, just give me the type or name of the product and we'll come up with a couple examples while we look at these other ones of that before and after stuff. Is it true that Facebook penalizes ads before and after? I'm not 100% sure there, Linda. The truth is, I think especially with weight loss, they're very stringent with it. In fact, I don't even know you can do weight loss ads, but I'm certain you would not get in trouble if you're selling a power washing tool showing before and after, like stairs, right? So you're you're giving them the idea of what the before and after is going to look like in their head, right? So that's mostly done with, okay, so we got a mini purse light. All right, this one's going to be fun. You just literally have like a gal looking through her purse. It's super dark. She can't find anything. This could work in video as well, but like before is the dark purse. She looks really frustrated and upset, and the other one's just her holding a little light and out and with her friends in the alley, or the street or club or whatever. I don't know what people do anymore. I sit in my house, but that's showing the difference. Or she's like holding up a hotel key in Vegas and having a great time because she found it. I don't know. Lighted dog collar, same. Ooh, you could go dark with that one. Flooring, before and after, crappy floor, good floor, LED toilet light, pee all over the seat. And I'm just kidding. You probably shouldn't do that, but you get the idea, right? Yeah, hair salon's easy. Crazy hair, awesome hair. Look at all these folks having awesome products. Adrian, you're teaching some awesome stuff. Remote control monster truck, a sad kid and a happy kid. Air purifiers. Someone coughing and particles in the air versus someone smiling. I mean, we've all seen the commercials for medications, right? They do this just over and over, beat your head with over the head with it. The sad lady sitting there, the next she's running with her grandkids. That's why they do this. They're showing, not telling. If you say this power washer cleans your driveway, it's not going to be nearly as impactful as showing a picture like this. Okay. Tap into the emotional implications of your product. This ties in with that before and after, showing and not telling. So I really like this because they could have just sold this cool thing, but I'll zoom in a little bit. They tied in this really cool emotional vein, which this is hard to do. This takes some creative thinking, but it will work when it's done right. Fighting is easy. Making up is harder. Let us help deliver the perfect apology differently. Puts a lot of imagery and a couple lines in your head, right? It's selling the idea of making up in a relationship, which is a universal human experience. We've all messed up, wanted to make things better, and they're giving us an idea of how to make up, right? That's an emotional point of view. All of these, we can talk about the emotional side, but this one I just thought was really killer how they did that. This one again is a good just example of a discount. They just work. That's why like every freaking weekend Macy's is having a sale. Like that's why, walk through the mall, you will see there is a sale at almost every store all the time because it gets people to click and, physically click by walking in the door. So never discount the discount. And then social proof. This one's an obvious one, guys. show your customers using it, even if it's like not exactly your customers. Like if you're shipping, ask the distributor if they got pictures or testimonials. Like you can go out and you could even just imply like people using it if you don't have it all, like, or you just, but they work. Testimonials are great. It's called social proof. It's killer. Okay. And then let's look at some more ads here, a few more points. We've talked about this one quite a bit, but what is your unique selling point? A lot of people in the copy world call that the unique mechanism, and I can't hardly pronounce that word, so I don't like using that. But it's the thing that makes your product different from all the other products, or it's the thing that makes you different as a provider of that product than other people, right? Anybody watch The Office in here? Adrian, do you ever watch The Office? Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever
Oh, yeah.
Michael Scott, he would, you'd see them in a pitch meeting for the paper, and they're selling the same paper as the big warehouse brands, but their unique selling position was their customer service, and that was always kind of the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's
Mm-hmm.
probably a bad business model, but you can identify that in your product. A lot of times it's pretty clear, sometimes it's not, but there's always something unique, and it doesn't even have to be like a patented, cool, unique way of doing it. Like, for instance, one of the first really successful advertising campaigns in the United States was for beer, for a unique beer brand. Before, people just bought beer, and it was any old beer that was available. But a guy came along, I think it was Robert E. Kennedy, wrote this ad about a beer with the best foam or something like that. But he made a unique selling point out of this foam in the beer, which now is not a selling point, by the way. But no one had ever done that before with beer. So people are like, well, it must be the best beer because they said it was, right? It's the unique selling point, even though every beer has foam, right? So this one here, as an example, this is a washable rug. I like the copy in it too, the ad itself. I'll zoom in a little bit. Ruggable makes rugs that are pet friendly, wine drinker friendly. I have 2 toddlers friendly, Doritos fingers friendly, and just down around life friendly. Best product, see less. So that use of creative copy is great. Like I just like that copy. But washable rugs, it's a unique selling point. They focus on it, and they paint in your mind. Like I looked at this and was like, I need that. I've got kid on the way, another kid, and 2 corgis. So and then we talk about that unique feature. What does it solve? What does it do? What does it provide me as the end user? A easy to clean life. All right. Next, I'm going to rush through these because I want to get to the frameworks. I know we're getting in there on time, but the next point here, this is huge. You just got to know your audience. There's no way around it. This is a complex subject because there's generally want to sell like everything to everybody, and I'm guilty of that a lot of times. I'm like, everybody should buy this, right? But if you can niche down and get a very good idea of they call it an avatar, but just think of it as like the most common stereotypical buyer that you have. You can give them a name. This one's Hank's belt. I bet you his name is Hank. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, right? They know their audience here. If you know your audience, you can speak in their language. If this is a Midwestern guy who likes to buy things in the US, US made, it's going to be pretty simple, straightforward talk. You ain't going to have no nonsense, right? If you're trying to sell to an uppity Brooklyn hipster person, it's going to be a different language, right? So you can either make up an audience you want to target and change the language for them, or you can look at who your buyers are now and try to sell to more people like them. A lot of times people, like big companies, they'll break them out into different campaigns and change the language. Like, all right, we want to sell to busy moms this way, or we want to sell over here to millennials who don't have time. Like it can get pretty complex. That's why I generally try to stick to one, or I just try to talk about like universal things that we all, that's why I love these emotional ones here. Universal human experiences, they apply to pretty much all demographics. Everybody, doesn't matter where you are, gets in a fight and wants to make up. That's a universal. You can make that your core ad piece, or you can talk specifically to an audience. Then you can define what matters to them, talk to them, and this one they're saying they know Hank here. I'm assuming they're going to name him Hank. They want quality. They want made in the U.S. They want transparency. We're not hiding anything here at Hank's Belts. All belts and wallets are U.S. made for our facilities in upstate New York. Simple language, not city folk. It's upstate New York, right? So think about that when we're writing our ads too. I know it sounds like a lot. A lot of this stuff kind of comes naturally after a while. Last point here. This one can be tricky, but it can be done. You versus the competition. Where do you stand out? We're all familiar with the, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC. Well, maybe you're not if you're like younger than 25. But there used to be an ad campaign that I'm a Mac and I'm a PC. This was when Microsoft was bigger than Apple. They went after Microsoft hard, and they pointed out the simplicity of the Apple, how it's for the average person. Now they're worth $3 trillion, literally. They don't make ads comparing themselves to Microsoft anymore. They're bigger than the competition. They don't need to compare themselves, right? So if you're smaller, or you're just breaking into a market, or you've got a unique product and you're targeting people who buy the other type of product that's more expensive, you can call them out in that, right? Final Chance saved additional 20% on $55 nonstick skillet, raised over $1 million on, so they're playing into the social proof here too, raised over $1 million on Kickstarter from 12,000 people. The $55 nonstick pan that will outlast $130 pans. So what's their competition? No specific pan, but expensive pans. And they're making a big claim that they can outlast them. So look at your product. What are you competing with? It doesn't even have to be the same product. It could just be the same like benefit that your product provides, right? Like I could sell an exercise machine and target people who are on antidepressants and say, this one outcompetes antidepressants, 2-to-1 or whatever the ratio is, or the other way around, right? It doesn't have to be in the same exact category either. Does that
You
make
could
sense,
also,
guys?
Sean, for like
Yeah.
a lot of e-com stores, I just in reading this and listening to you talk, like if you don't have like a direct competitor or something, one way to do this is typically whatever you're selling, there is a big box store selling it, right? Amazon, Walmart, Target, whatever it may be. And so a way to compare yourself to the competition would also be positioning yourself as supporting a small business because we'll handle this with extra care and extra quality. And that's kind of playing off of, hey, you can go buy this from some big box store. They don't care about you. You're just supporting the billionaires, right? You order from us, we're gonna reward your loyalty. We're gonna handle it with the care, and you're doing a good thing by supporting a small business, which right now in e-commerce is huge. And why so many people are supporting Shopify stores is because they directly have intent to support small business stores. So I kind of feel like you can make your competition the big boxes and push people to support you instead, because you'll get better quality and better benefits and better care, just off the top of
Yeah,
my head.
it's huge, right? So whatever platform you're using, you can play, your job as a marketer, and everyone who's a business owner is a marketer. I'm sorry, but you have to market the products you're selling. Your job is to identify the opportunities in your particular world. So if you're on Shopify, a big benefit is that you can play that angle, small business. What if you're on Amazon? Well, then you can play up the big box feature, right? Like we use Prime, so your order is secured and you're getting it the next day, right? Like you have to work with what you've got or what you've chosen. I like the idea of working with an independent retailer too, but a lot of times my concerns are XYZ, right? So if they address my concerns with 2-day shipping or like hassle-free returns, if that's listed on there, you're selling you as a supplier then as well. So I love that, Adrian. That's a really good point. And you can do that right in your advertising as well. It's like, P.S. We're locally owned and based out of the United States, and help support us during these tough times, and we'll take care of you, blah, 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 right? So those can be added ways to sell the product by selling yourself and your particular situation. So guys, next we're going to look at some frameworks here. I've been building a giant aquarium over the last few days. I've literally spent like 40 hours in the last 5 days on this thing. Adrian's probably seen it on Instagram, but I know everything there is to know about giant fish tanks now. That's the problem with ADHD is like once you like get into something, you go big or go home, you know. So I'm pulling up, we've got our little filter here. I just went and found this random filter on Amazon, and I wrote up some examples of these 3 frameworks. And these are ones, guys, you can, hopefully this recording come up, but I'll tell you what, I'll give Adrian the slides here too after this. He can put them, in wherever, or I'll try to get them to you guys because I know, yeah.
I can put them on the replay page.
Okay, cool. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Just say that, I know there's a lot of text. I'm not going to read it all, but PAS. These, again, frameworks we can all use to write ads, landing pages, emails, the intro of a blog post. These are very versatile frameworks. This one's been around for a long time too. PAS, the most reliable sales formula ever invented. Big claim there. Probably popular used in everything, tweets, long page, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we've got problem, agitate, solution. Problem is pretty simple. Here's the problem that we have. The kids are messy and rugs get messy and they're a pain in the butt to clean. That's the problem, right? Let me see. We got pet hair removal. Pet hair gets everywhere. Let's see. I'm just looking at some remote control monster truck. That one's a little tough. What's the problem? Oh, my kid is bored, or my kid is loud and I want them not to be bored. Hair salon. Your hair sucks. No. Mine is a wreck right now. That is the problem we're trying to solve, right? So this is very important here. It's the problem your prospect feels. So maybe it's not your problem. You may have to put yourselves in their shoes and think really hard and talk to people. Like, you want to get to know deep down, have empathy with them. So this is a simple line. Fish tanks are great, but they're also a lot of work. They're a great way to bring beauty and nature in your home, but it can be hard to keep them clean and healthy. That's our problem, right? So we don't want to jump right into our product. A lot of times we need to give them, even if it's just a sentence, like give them some context to show that we know the problem, they agree with it, say, yeah, they are great, but they are a lot of work, right? That's the simple first line here. Agitate, that word is pretty straightforward. We want to add more sizzle to the steak, like raise the stakes, as they call it in movie making. We want to really like dig into the problem we just defined. So we can say something like, we hate cleaning our fish tank. It's messy, not to mention tedious, that we end up not doing it as often as we should. This results in bad quality water, which means poor fish suffer from illness and even death because of dirty water. Again, this is just a first draft. I personally going in here, if I'm selling a product, I'd probably make this a little less, hoity-toity, for lack of a better term. But I wanted to overemphasize the points here. But we're digging in deeper on that initial problem, and this could go right in an ad, straight like this, right? And it pays out some more of these problems that we have. It's not fun to clean a fish tank. It's messy and tedious. Sometimes we don't do it because of those things, right? And here's the results. Here's the agitation. Bad water quality, poor fish suffer from illness and even death. Not to mention a tank you're not very proud of, right? Then the solution is just our quick elevator pitch, right? This Xperia, I just literally copied this off Amazon, not the text, but the actual product. The aquarium filter is here to help us keep our fish healthy and happy with minimal effort on our part. Pretty straightforward, but we're selling right away, like right in the solution part. With this product, you enjoy crystal clear water without having to worry about changing filters or cleaning your tank weeks at a time. Plus, it's the air pump instead of electricity powered. It doesn't require any cords. So you get the idea. But that's the power of these frameworks. You can take this problem, agitate, solution, apply it to any product. You can apply it to any like higher level. So you have a product, you have a brand. You could take a PAS, just like we were talking about with like Amazon, right? The problem with Amazon is that it's a big box store that's not supporting small businesses. Most of the products are in China, blah, blah, blah. Agitate that. When you don't help us local folk, blah, like, here's the solution. Work with us, we'll take care of you. So you can apply this formula here to just about anything conceptually, but mostly designed for products. AIDA, we've talked about pretty in depth here. But AIDA, one of the most common ones out there, grabbing their attention, building the interest. Another way to put it is inspire, like get them excited about it. I like this idea of challenging the norms of a topic, explore counterintuitive perspectives. It's just fancy words for saying, like, what are some eureka moments that we can talk about our offer here? Desire, building up that, I need this thing, right? Like, that's what desire is all about. Because I'll tell you guys, something to remember, when people are in the buying process, like I'm on a sales page or an ad or something, I'm either looking for a reason to buy or a reason not to buy. And we can give them both, but ideally we give them a reason to buy. And they're looking for reasons to justify their purchase. So a lot of times I've already made the decision to buy, and I'm looking for the right piece of copy that says, Sean, you're making a good decision. AIDA helps us do that by building up that desire part. And then our action part here, just don't forget to actually tell them to do the thing. You can have a great ad, but if you don't say, click the link below, people won't know what to do. All right, let's touch on this last one here, and then maybe we'll do some, some Q&A or see where we're at. BAB. This one's a good story framework. A lot of people talk about storytelling and marketing, but a story can be as simple as just like someone's journey. And I'll show you guys an amazing example of a story, 30-second story ad after we talk about this BAB. So before is your current world. It's the current situation you're in. We'll go back to the rug example. Messy rugs, hard to clean. That's the world you're in right now. After, what if there's a way you didn't have to, scrub your rug, get on your hands and knees and scrub that rug every day? Imagine what it'd be like if this problem was solved, right? But it doesn't have to happen in the way you think, right? The bridge, here's how to get it. Here's the problem, it's solved. We made a rug you can wash. Whoa, okay? So same example kind of here with the fish tank deal. You love your fish, but you don't like the hassle cleaning. You can read it. You get the idea. We're telling a very brief story of our audience member using our product and getting to where they want to be. Okay, I do want to show real quick, Adrian, and then we'll figure out what we're doing next. I want to show this one quick ad, and hopefully I can share the audio. If not, I might need you to show. You can see I have a lot of weird videos going, mostly aquarium videos. Google Parisian love. So this is an older ad for Google, but this one's killer. In 53 seconds, I'll give you some context. This is, I got to even go back a little further. When we're writing the copy, a lot of times we get so into our product and offer that we forget that these are people actually going to use our product. And a lot of times we can show the benefits, right? We know the difference between a feature and a benefit, right? A feature of a pen that it has black ink. A benefit is that I could write a love letter to, someone I love. Why else would you, right? So that's a feature and a benefit. And a story can show the features, the black ink, the easy to, it can show that, but the story needs to tie into that benefit. So let me show you guys an example. This is one of my favorite ads of all time. It's 50 seconds just to tie this up. But it uses all the principles we've been talking about in this presentation, okay? Adrian, I'm gonna play it. Let me know if the audio doesn't come through, but there's just music, but it does add to it. Any audio?
Point your mic toward the speakers on your computer. That's what I usually do.
That is very smart. I'm gonna put it on my MacBook Pro, and then we'll play it. Okay. Let's try that again.
Max volume.
Hopefully there's not like a boatload of feedback. I don't know why I never would have thought of that. I would have like run. I've done it where I've run all this crazy. Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna play it. Let me know if you can hear it.
I don't hear the sound, but
Oh, I don't have it turned up that loud. Hang on.
there you go.
Okay. All right. So listen, and while you're watching this, guys, I want you to think. I want you to try to. It's going to go pretty fast, but try to count how many features of Google they show in this ad. What I mean by features is like, obviously search, but they show maps. Like there's a lot of different features shown in this 50-second ad where they could come on. Well, I'll save that for after. Let's watch it real quick. Pretty cool, right? Like that's a good emotional. Gosh, 2010 though. That's a long time ago. But we're drawn in on the emotional side, right? We're paying attention. We're seeing this love story. It's kind of hard to see maybe in the text. I don't know how clear it showed. The music was just a nice
No, it
emotional
came
picture.
through. It made
Okay.
total. I remember that ad.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I save these. There's so many of them I love, but this one's really cool because they, obviously Google probably spent $2 or $3 billion on this ad for the Super Bowl. So we're not going to go out and write a 50-second piece of content that's right out the gate. That's amazing. But they showed through telling the story of this guy going to Paris, falling in love, getting married, or having a long distance relationship, getting married, and then having a kid. They showed, I think I counted, last time I counted was 12 different features of Google. They showed obviously search. They showed Google Maps, like finding stuff. They showed translation. They showed I should make a list of this. I tell this story all the
They
time and I
showed
always forget.
assembly. They showed travel. They showed
Getting
um,
advice. Yeah.
advice, location, love advice, all of these things these problems that people have um, that typically you cannot get an instantaneous answer to. Google had.
And they showed it in a story that, for me, like when a lot of times I'll like get choked up because it's such a universal. I use that word a lot, universal stories, because we all can appreciate, right? The idea of falling in love, long distance relationship, having a kid. Like it was a beautiful little story in 50 seconds, and you don't even notice that you're getting sold to. It's a higher level ad concept, and when we're mostly running like Facebook or YouTube ads where we're just trying to freaking, show a product and stand out, right? I get it where you might just want to do one of these more traditional AIDA or pass ads, and they work. There's no doubt about it. I opened my sales page for my book with a story, a very, very short story. I said, she's looking at you from across the way. You can see you have her attention. Who is she? What does she want? What captures her attention? If you can answer that last question, you can sell anyone or anything to anyone. Curious? Good. The answer made myself and my clients millions in sales. I open a loop. I sell this little idea of this girl that or guy, whatever you want to put yourself in there, just to open up a loop, right? Now, it's a little more high concept. I don't know, for everyone that's going to be applicable, but the point is we can get creative, we can get emotional to sell our offer at a higher level of with this BAB method, the before, the after, and the bridge, how this solved the problem. They weaved in and out of that on that Google ad. But yeah, guys, there's a ton of different frameworks out there. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I think 3 is a good place to start for you guys. If we got any questions, we got some time here, whatever we want to do here, Adrian. I'm open to doing some Q&A.
Yeah, let's maybe
Or anything
take
that
like 1 or 2 questions. I'm sure I can get you back on another time for like more Q&A. I know you have a book that I'm happy to recommend to my community. I'm sure that they could benefit from it. Maybe you could come on again and talk more about your book too.
Cool. Yeah.
My pain meds are kicking in like full effect.
You're gonna fall asleep.
So I might start spinning around in circles in my chair or something here in a minute. So
All
we
right.
will need to
Well,
shut it down pretty soon.
yeah. Let's see if there's any. I love it, guys. Thank you for. Julie says I love the training. Thank you. I know we were doing this kind of last minute. I hope we were able to cover some good stuff, interesting stuff. Would love to read the book. Awesome. You know what I'll do, Adrian, too? Right now, my book is set at $100, so I'm not going to even pitch it on here because I think we can do a discount for you guys. I quit selling it at the retail because I'm coming out with the physical copy, and there's a long story behind it. But yeah, let's see if there's any good questions in here. Great advice for feel better. Yeah, been there. Yeah, poor Adrian.
I'm
Happy
in
New Year's
pain.
to you too. I think I'll pick one of these questions that were at the top. I want to give a little bit of a conceptual point here. Someone asked, what books to get better at copywriting? I get that question so much. I don't, we'll end on that question because I have a bunch of books, and I'll just tell you there are a ton of books on copywriting. However, most of them, like the ones like Copywriting for Dummies or Adweek's Guide to Copywriting, they're designed more for what's called like branding copywriting a lot of times. So books about copywriting are kind of hit and miss, besides mine, of course. I'm going to be partial. That's part of the reason I wrote it, is because I didn't like a lot of the copywriting books out there. There are still good ones out there, but a lot of times they're not useful to us who are more in the like e-com, like uh they're more like national ads in magazines and stuff, a lot of those books. So what I like to do is I like to get books about psychology, the human condition, like how people work, how stories work. Wired for Story is one I'm reading right now. Really understanding writing in general too is very helpful. How to make a plot, how to make, like, your sales page can have a plot to it where it connects to different people. So really what I'll advise you is to go into your, the bookstore or on Amazon. The section I like to look at is psychology, more specifically like, biases and human nature. And then also I love just general books on writing, because when you're writing nonfiction or fiction, you have to persuade people. Books on persuasion, of course, too, but you have to persuade people to keep reading, and that's what a lot of books teach really well. Is there a specific framework you like best for Facebook ads? There's no specific one I like the best. AIDA is probably the closest, just because it's so straightforward, hard to beat. It's a good control, which is like where you want to start with an ad. Then you can build off that and be more creative.
Yeah, I would say like sorry if I sound loopy. AIDA is like the top framework, but then you would use some of these examples that, depending on your product, you would use some of these examples that you've shown tonight, like us versus the competition, or how the other ad used a lot of scarcity and a big discount and saying that it's new and like revolutionary. So I would say like always use AIDA for a Facebook ad, but then go back and watch the replay of this. Look at some of these examples of the different types of products and ads that Sean showed, like old Hank, good old boy Hank, just selling U.S. made, premium leather belts. you know, dependent on your belt, you're going to kind of change the way the AIDA formula is used within your ad. And
Exactly.
honestly,
Yeah.
like I know that Sean recommended a crap load of books, but if you want to know how to write copy that sells, there's only one book that I would read, and it's Sean's. So I I think he said he'll give me a link to it with a discount or something like that. I can put that on the replay page. So you just check the email tomorrow. And how many of you in here would like to get Sean on another webinar like this, where he can, because he has like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you have like a whole course on like copywriting along with your book and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Or did you
yeah,
quit
man.
doing
And
that?
the book is keeps expanding. You know, someone asks, you know, do I have swipe file I can share in the members area for the book? I have thousands and thousands of swipe file examples and other sites that use them. The thing keeps growing. You know, it's not always a more is better situation, but I've pared it down to like easy to find pieces of this puzzle so that you can build it out. But again, yeah, Adrian, I'll get you that link. I'll get everybody the slides too for the replay. But I tell you what, man, you go get some rest, let that finger heal, let those pain meds do their job. We did good tonight though, for kind of off the cuff. I felt this was fun.
No, it
So I'll
was
definitely.
phenomenal. I loved it. Like I loved looking at your examples. Yeah, I'm on some pain medication. You know, maybe a little bit of Xanax for the anxiety of worrying that my finger is going to fall off of my hand and my word per minute is going to go down. But that's like the first thing I said when I messed up my hand. I went, oh my God, how am I going to type? My word
Oh
per
my
minute's going
gosh.
to go down. That's what they said. I kept screaming. But I really appreciate you coming on here, dude. I want to get a link to your book to share with everyone so they can choose to buy it or not. I know you said you would give a discount. So everyone just open up your email tomorrow, watch the replay. I didn't bring Sean on here with the intent to try to sell his book. He really does not care if you buy his book. I don't care if you buy his book, but if you want to know how to write copy and you want to crush it and you want to learn from the guy that's written a lot of my copy and the big player's copy, then I don't know why you would go buy another book, right? He's done all the research and put it in his own book. So, Sean, please send me a link to that, and I'd love to share it with everyone. I don't care if it's an affiliate link or it's just a link with you sharing it with everyone. I really don't care because I know that your book is going to be very beneficial and it's going to help them. So I really appreciate you coming on, man. And maybe I can get you back on and you can just do like a whole presentation with real like ecom examples. You can feature your book again, tell people more about how they could learn from you. Because my community, they don't care if you offer them something that costs money if they know it's going to help them. Because they know when I bring people on here, it's top tier, the best of the best. They want to invest in things that can help them, especially in the new year. Crush it, make 2022 their biggest year yet.
Awesome, man. Well, you've got such an awesome community. The interaction tonight, you know, both probably do a lot of these for different people and stuff, and it's always kind of a bummer when there's just, there might be 200 people on the call, but no one's like chatting or whatever. But appreciate you all. Look at these lovely people. Not a negative comment either. The whole night I didn't see one, which I think says a lot more about the community than myself. I'll say that because I tend to ramble. Um, but I appreciate you guys. Adrian, love you, brother. Let's connect again soon, and I'm happy to come back anytime. Just let me know, brother.
Love you too, my guy. Thanks so much for helping me out. It's so great to not have to type because my hand is so screwed. So thanks so much for coming on. I'll get you back on again. Get me that link. Do not forget to get me a link to your book because I know that they're like chomping at the bits to buy it. So you need to get more people to read it. It's brilliant. So send that over to me. I'll get these slides from you as well. And everyone else, thanks so much for coming here. Look, even though I obviously don't feel very well, and I am injured. I still, no matter what's going on in my life, like I want to make sure that I show up for you. I show up to teach you and to train you. If y'all got in the the Econ Blitz Bootcamp that we're doing. It's Saturday, January 8th. I gave everyone a discounted price point on it of $397. So if you paid for that and enrolled in that, don't forget it is January 8th. You'll get an email about it. If you didn't get in that and you still want to get into it for $397, we're going to open it up for 3 more days with the same discount for New Year's. So it's at http://www. I'm trying to type this in. profitph.com/discounts. Most of you already have it, but I'll put it in there. So you can go join. It's a boot camp with me and Jordan, my media buyer, who buys all my Facebook ads for all of my Facebook ads for the info side of my business. So check that out. Remember, January 8th, it will be recorded if you can't be there. Sean, don't forget to send me that link, my friend. Thanks so much for epic training. I learned a lot myself and have a lot of ideas for my own ads. And I just appreciate you for helping me out tonight. I'm sure the community does as well.
Awesome, brother. Talk soon.
All right. Good night, everybody. And I'll go on Facebook and I'll give away $100. I'll just type in the Facebook group who wins $100. And I'll get you to PayPal. These are things that are in full effect.
I was gonna say
I'll get you your money. All right, I'm gonna announce a winner in a minute, and I'll get you your money, okay, through the appropriate means. I'll see you next week, 9 p.m. EST, Tuesday night, here on the Profit Power Hour. Thanks, Sean. Good night, everybody.
Love you, Adrian.